You are listening to the In the Travel Know podcast, where we talk to game-changing leaders in the industry on how they got to where they are, trends they think will transform the industry, what they believe is the future of travel, and how they support sustainability, diversity, and young people in travel. Are you ready to get in the travel know? Hello, and thank you for tuning into the In the Travel Know podcast, powered by Avis Budget Group and supported by the ITT Future You and Waterfront, the creative agency for ambitious travel brands. My name is Jamie Lee Abtar, your host, and today I am delighted to welcome to the show Antonio Paradiso, who is the Managing Director for MSC Cruises. Antonio, welcome to the show.
Thank you, and buongiorno, everyone.
How are you feeling after last night? We're fresh off the heels from the Globe's Travel Awards. How was it?
Feeling great as usual. Yeah, it was a great evening. It was nice to see so many friends and partners, after a couple of years, of absence, of pure absence. So, yeah, it was nice catching up with them and to finally, see some smiles on people's faces. And it was a rather lovely evening.
Yeah, yes,
I took it easy, if I'm honest. So I didn't go out, but because I had some meetings.
You had this morning as well. I was going to say.
Quite a few meetings going on, but yeah, it was nice. It was nice, honestly. I think we all needed it after, this 2 years pause, let's call it so.
Yeah, it was super good. It was good to have that. Like, it was just an air of positivity in the room, and everybody, it just feels like things are definitely on the up now. So thank you for taking the time out to come here this morning.
No problem. My pleasure.
Well, the In the Travel Know podcast is all about talking to influential leaders within the travel industry. And one of the things we want to get to know is how did you get to where you are? Tell us a little bit of background about Antonio and how he got to be the managing director of MSC Cruises, really.
Well, it's a rather interesting story because my background has little to do with the travel industry or the cruise industry in particular. I have a degree in political sciences and diplomacy. So basically straight after university, I started working for the British Embassy in Rome and then for the British Consulate in Naples. So I was living in Italy, hence why I'm mentioning these two cities, Rome and Napoli. And during an event where basically, the main purpose of the British Embassy was to foster the relationship between the UK and Italy and help, business enterprises, to start new businesses either in the UK or in Italy. So basically during an event, I came across, I met the owner of the MSC Group and we started talking, and basically MSC was a relatively young cruise company back then. We're talking about 14 years ago. So we were up and coming, and they were looking for new people who wanted, to develop and open new markets for MSC. So I joined MSC, and basically my first job was to explore new opportunities. So basically with my little briefcase, I went from country to country, basically meeting agents, tour operators, and opening up opportunities for our brand. And basically I've covered the whole area, which goes from Poland down to Singapore. So I was overseeing commercially and strategically all of those countries. Then after a few years, I was in charge of Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. So I've been in charge of different markets.
Okay.
And then about 5-6 years ago, I basically came back to the UK. Okay. Believe it or not, I was born in this country. So I was born in Brighton, although I was raised in Italy.
Would have never guessed that.
Yeah, that explains my dodgy accent. And so I became the MD of MSC Cruises UK and Ireland, and it was an exciting opportunity, and we really wanted to further increase the awareness of the MSC brand in this country. And year after year, we've done some really exciting things. We've had the biggest ship launch ever in this country, to many other events that I believe put MSC definitely on the map,
Oh, fantastic. I know you mentioned that you met the owner of MSC Cruises. Is that the power of networking? Or was
Yes.
how did that all happen?
No. Power of networking.
The power of it.
You know, sometimes you need to be brave and you know, seize the opportunity. You know, the good old Latins. You know,
Yeah.
my ancestors basically used to say "carpe diem, qua minimum credula possera."
Okay.
So seize the opportunity, seize the moment. Don't be shy. Again, if you never ask, you never get.
You're never
So,
gonna get.
there's no problem with asking and approaching people as long as you're polite and respectful. You know,
Give it a go.
give it a go
Yeah.
because you just never know, really.
You just never know.
And if you look at my career, I was always in the right place at the right moment. I did take some risks, you know. You can't really play it safe, especially when you're at the beginning of your career,
Yeah.
you know. I made lots of sacrifices, you know, I've lived in so many different countries around the world. I worked some crazy hours, but at the end of the day, it's all about, you know, believing in what you're doing and putting a lot of passion. So passion moves mountains. I always say that. So as long as you got this, you can go a long way. You're kind of invincible.
Okay, brilliant. Thank
So
you.
yeah, networking is definitely, you know, this industry is all about context, really, knowing the right people.
Yeah.
Because we all need support. We all need some help
You do.
at a certain point, you know, in our lives. So it's good to have lots of friends and again, shaking hands with people. Well, I'm not sure shaking hands now is the right thing to do, but you know what I mean.
Elbows.
Bumping elbows probably, but you know, getting in touch with the right people.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess that's why it was so great to be back at the Globes last night as well.
Indeed.
You know, just being around everybody, your different network contacts,
Correct.
and to talk to people face to face, it's just a different, you know, feeling. You get more done. I feel like you get more done when you're like face to face and you can physically connect.
And I think we're all bored and sick with Teams and Zoom. You know,
we
sometimes
don't want to see it anymore. I
exactly.
know.
So we want to see real people. You know?
Exactly. So tell us a little bit about your current role. So as managing director, what does a day in the life of Antonio look like? And I know it probably varies, but well, you know, give us one of the what's the day?
Well,
typical day.
To be honest, you wake up and you don't know what's gonna hit you next, you know, because every week there's something going on, if I'm honest. But let's say the main priority is, of course, to grow our sales in UK and Ireland. So, you know, our organization is made of different divisions, you know, from sales teams, the revenue team, marketing, PR, financial, etc., etc. So the main goal is basically to further grow our share within the UK market. How do you do that? You need to make sure that you're engaging with the travel agents, with the consumers. You need to make sure that you're putting your offers out there, that you're sharing all the amazing destinations that you're visiting with your ships. And especially at MSC, we tend to launch a ship or two every year.
Wow.
So there's always
what goes into that? Well, give me a little bit of the behind the scenes of launching a new ship into the marketplace.
So to be honest, there's
like
a lot of stress that goes into that. So there's excitement, passion, but a lot of stress. And in fairness, when we launched MSC Bellissima in Southampton back in 2019, I was also battling with a storm at the time. So despite all of my planning, you know, 3 days packed full with well-known artists and performers, you know, I also had some unexpected things happening, but we dealt with it really, really well. So it's all about that buzz, the excitement is about getting people together. You know, just to give you an idea, in just 3 days, we had more than 4,000 people visiting that ship.
Wow.
And it's all about showcasing your product, you know, showcasing your amazing ship. And every new ship has just gets better and better. So there are new facilities, new features, and the ships are getting greener and greener. So we're investing in the latest technology available. Then in terms of entertainment, you just go from strength to strength. So
improving and getting better and better.
You know, the main challenge with the cruise is that unlike the land holidays, you know, when you're selling a ship, you're actually trying to explain, you know, what a floating city has to offer. So there's so much to say, and you know, to get that message out there,
out to the market.
out to market is probably the main challenge. That's why we spend so much time in training travel agents and educating people, sharing our stories, our experiences, having bloggers, journalists, media, you know, covering different angles
Angles and perspectives on cruising.
Exactly, because there's still people out there that believe that cruising is for old people, or there's so many misconceptions when it's far from being such an experience, especially in our case where the average age on board of our ship is 43. So we tend to cater for younger demographics, I would say. So lots of excitement, lots of passion. Back then we had, of course, our godmother, Sophia Loren, launching the ship. We had Holly Willoughby as the main host.
I think you can remember this,
Yes, so we had Andrea Bocelli and Matteo Bocelli. So we had some amazing artists. And I think from what I heard, everyone had a good
great time. That's what's important, right? And everybody has a great time.
Exactly.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit. So you've had this amazing career. Tell us what, if you could identify kind of one career highlight, what would that be and why?
Well, to date, probably the launch of MSC Bellissima in UK, because it was a project very close to my heart. And it was the first time that I was actually involved in something that big, which also pushed me out of my comfort zone, if I'm honest. Don't get me wrong, I believe I'm a really good businessman, but dealing with artists or with different types of media and publications is a completely different game. So I had to learn a lot and also how to approach these people and what to expect from them. And then, the operational and logistical challenges of arranging such a big event, because the way we do our christenings is that we basically have about 2,500 people attending the main ceremony. So can you imagine the size of the stage? And we had this huge marquee probably doesn't even describe it. It was huge, so all the logistics and, every day I was learning something new. Because, there's always obstacles, there's always challenges, and it's how you overcome those problems that makes you richer, I believe.
Well, that leads me straight into my next question, because I was going to ask you, and you bring it. What was that kind of? What's been the biggest factor that has helped you to really be successful, you think?
I've always had great people around me. I believe there's always a team effort. Like when I was younger, I used to think that I was invincible, that I was a one-man show. Yes, I can do everything. I can do it all, bring it on and all that. But then I'm happy to say you become a little bit more mature and you realize that you actually need good people around you, and you need to invest in your colleagues. So they need to progress with their career. You need to give them responsibilities and projects, because if they grow, you will grow as well. So I think a good team does most of the job, if I'm honest. So it's obvious in my position, probably I take credit for most of the things, but every time I get the opportunity, I always say thank you to I call them my family, because we act as a family. But it's always down to each and every individual that's part of our organization. That's the reason why we are the fastest growing cruise line in the world. We are ambitious people, we're result driven, we've got lots of passion, and we believe in what we do. So it's all about bringing people together. And my only advice would be open your mind, expand your horizon, never stop learning, never stop investing in yourself, because the world changes every day, so there's something new out there each and every day of your life. So don't take things for granted, be curious. I always say curiosity is probably my main driver, because it pushes you to learn more, to find out more about what's happening, out there in the world. And being curious is always a good thing. It pushes you to do something new, something different every day.
And look outside the box and think outside the box. It pushes you to think outside the box, isn't it, as well, and to look for those new opportunities. Being curious and that's what travel is about, looking for those new opportunities.
And going by the book is not always the answer. No, believe me.
I've learned that.
Sometimes you need to be brave.
Step out there.
Step out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, you really do. And that's where you realize, there's so much more to things. So what would your definition of success, or how would you define success?
So, if you had asked me this question about 10 years ago, probably I would have said, well, position, power, money. Okay. Now, again, probably it's because I've passed my 40s. So I look at life.
The growth.
Yeah, I look at things differently. Success for me, if I'm honest, my biggest achievement was that I managed to save the entire organization in UK throughout this pandemic. So we didn't lose a single person. So that was the biggest achievement. So looking at success is probably being surrounded by people who don't just work, for MSC because they get a salary at the end of the month, but they work for MSC because they believe in what they do and because they feel they're part of something. So I actually measure success now according to the smiles and the reaction I see on my colleagues' faces.
Okay. Oh, I like that. That's brilliant.
Because money is important, don't get me wrong. Position is important, power is important. So I'm not saying, I
no,
don't care
ignore
about
those
that.
things, but
You actually understand that you're on a journey and you want to be surrounded by amazing people whilst you're on that journey. And sharing emotions and experiences with other people, I just believe that makes you richer, just as much as traveling the world.
yes.
So yeah, success is to make sure that the welfare is actually available for everyone.
For everybody around you, your team,
exactly.
and supporting
and that they're all motivated. As long as they're motivated, I'm happy.
You're happy. I like that.
I believe there's a lot of harmony within our team, and I think that's a really big accomplishment.
And you mentioned journey. One of my favorite quotes is, "Life is a journey, not a destination."
Correct.
You so much happens, and you just have to
Listen. Destinations change every day.
True.
Okay. If you're determined, you can go anywhere.
You can go anywhere, 100%.
Exactly.
Hi there, this is Sam Ballard, the Managing Director of Waterfront, the ambitious creative company for ambitious travel companies. This episode's Waterfront Moment is all about perceptions. I've worked in the cruise industry for a long time and worked with a number of cruise brands. And one of the longest running debates I've ever witnessed is whether cruise and cruise ships in particular are a turn-off for that new to cruise customer, that really, really valuable segment that every single cruise line wants to go after, and how this should be manifested within a cruise line's marketing strategy. What I mean by that is, if you're selling a cruise holiday, do you even mention that it's a cruise? It's a really odd question for those not familiar with the segment, but if you're in it, you do know what we're talking about. The number one reason for going on a cruise is destination. So you put something like a ship on the cover of your brochure or your TV advert. Like, do you do that? Is that something you do? Do you peel away some of the more traditional language that surrounds a cruise, like port, starboard, midship, cabin, etc., as that could create confusion? The aim has always been to make cruise more relatable to the all-important new to cruise segment and appear to be a great holiday choice, not a great cruise choice. Many cruise lines have aimed to break out of the category so that they can compete with the holiday companies rather than scrap out with the cruise lines for those people that already converted. The stats prove that once you go on a cruise, you're more likely to go on one again, but it's getting people on one initially. It's a debate that continues to rumble on. Cruises is an outstanding way to holiday, and while there is a very vocal minority of people who would never take a cruise, there are a lot of people that would, or at least would consider it. What's interesting is that more and more you're seeing cruise lines embrace the key point of differentiation, the fact that they are a cruise ship. It's what makes the holidays so great after all. This is your Waterfront Moment, brought to you by Waterfront, the creative agency for the travel industry.
You spoke a little bit about COVID, and we know, do we even want to mention the C word? I don't know, but we're going to talk about it because it happened. And of course, the cruise industry was like drastically hit by COVID. Unfortunately, I feel like you guys got like more so the initial brunt of like all of the media and all of that kind of stuff. And I just want to hear from your perspective, how has the last 2 years really kind of helped to revolutionize or change or transform the cruise industry?
So yeah, you're right. The cruise industry has always gained a good battering from whatever happens in the world, because at the end of the day, we're operating rather big assets. So you can't really hide the ship.
You can't.
So no matter where you are in the world, there's something going on. So yes, it was no need to. I don't even want to
say the word.
Spend time and talking about how bad it was.
No.
I think we've all felt the pain. We've been through that, and I hope we can forget about this word as soon as possible. But yes, it helped me to look at business from a completely different perspective. So it goes without saying, at the beginning it was about limiting and containing the damage. So you had to be way more cost effective pay more attention to your costs, of course, and how you were investing your money, the company money, of course. But I think it gave us the opportunity to restructure ourselves a little bit, to change a few things. Gave us the opportunity, as I said, to look at things from a completely different perspective. So we've learned a lot. We understood a little bit more about the consumers, about the customers, because you can imagine they were, for obvious reasons, particularly demanding. And there was a lot of confusion out there, especially with the regulations and the policies, changing pretty much every day of the week. So it gave us the opportunity, to improve our comms, our communication towards, the customers and the travel agents. How could we? It was an opportunity for us, to optimize many processes that used to take place within our companies. So it also taught us a lesson. Before we used to spend like 8 or 9 hours in a meeting room talking for ages. Then we realized, hey, there you go. There's technology. There's Zoom. There's Teams. And you had the possibility to actually maximize, your time as well, because you had the opportunity, to be a little bit more efficient. How many times you walk into a meeting room, you have to wait for somebody who's late, and then there's a coffee break, and this and that. Whereas on Teams, you get the job done. Okay, done. Move on to the next one. So yes, it gave us the opportunity, to think differently, and I personally believe we've learned a lot from this whole, unfortunately, experience. We became more determined, for sure, more resilient, and more importantly, probably more agile, I would say, because we had to be flexible and adapt ourselves really quickly. Because, as I said, every day or pretty much every week there was something new going on out there. And this doesn't just apply to our offices, also on board the ships. We had to tweak and change many things, because don't get me wrong, I think the cruise industry was ahead of the game in terms of dealing with viruses.
You guys always had to be
like, we're always dealing with something.
Yes.
But definitely this COVID really pushed us. They really pushed us, But it gave us the opportunity to look into our protocols on board, to do things differently. And some of the things we have done throughout this pandemic will actually remain in place for the years to come, because we believe it's the right thing to do. So it gave us the opportunity to look at things from a completely different angle or perspective, as you wish. But I think we are now bouncing back. I think we have a really strong team, and that's last year, MSC was the first cruise line to resume the operation from the UK, so you can imagine the pressure. And but again, I still believe it was worth doing that, because then we opened the door for all the other cruise lines.
You did. You definitely did.
So we definitely got the message out there that it was rather safe to cruise.
I mean, I actually went on can I call it a cruise station? What do you call the UK cruises? What is the word for it?
As you wish, because there was a staycation, cruise, domestic cruises.
So staycation.
Listen,
I like the
I've
staycation.
heard they're all on how to explain an itinerary around the British Isles, So we definitely had lots of creativity back then.
We had the staycation, and we did the ITT conference on board the MSC Virtuosa. And I remember you saying, I think I remember you saying, you went up on stage and you said that the staycations were now opening up a new market for cruise industry. Like you were bringing, because you're now seeing like younger demographic, more families. Is that still a trend? Have you seen that now transform? Those individuals who maybe have gone on the staycations, are they now coming back and doing like a longer type cruise holiday? How is that trend transforming?
The good news is that yes, they are coming
brilliant.
back. So every cloud has a silver lining, right? Yeah. So if you had told me a few years ago that I was going to have a ship going around Britain, honestly, I would have laughed. But you work with what is available there.
Too.
So as I said, probably the silver lining was that those staycations or those seacations or domestic cruises, let's call them like that, actually attracted so many new to cruise. So people who didn't necessarily think about cruising before. So because there weren't many options available last summer, they said, okay, why not? Let's try a cruise ship. Let's see what all this fuss is about. What is that? And many people, especially many families, as I said, they stepped on board and said, wow, this is amazing, because, you've got water slides,
Everything.
5 or 6 different kids clubs, entertainment non-stop,
Mm-hmm.
and so it was an eye-opener for many people.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a significant high percentage of repeaters.
Okay.
So people, as you said,
Yeah.
that this year, they may even book the same ship, but they want to try a different itinerary.
itinerary. Okay.
So they want to go somewhere else.
Somewhere else,
And, fingers crossed, this summer we have many destinations on offer. From the Canaries to the Caribbean to the Mediterranean, etc., etc., etc. So many of those people are coming back, and we are happy to have them back.
Oh, that's brilliant.
So that was probably the only good thing that really happened throughout this pandemic.
Okay, that was it.
Again,
Opened up a whole new
Yes, exactly.
marketplace. And I've got so many friends that have never ever been on a
Yes.
cruise, never even considered it. And they did this the domestic cruise.
Yeah.
And now they're going back. They want to do a cruise. They want to do a girls trip. They want to
that's
go
the
on a
thing.
cruise. And it's like, wow. So it's really like giving people the opportunity to see what was
Exactly.
available on board.
And finally getting
Yeah.
rid of those misconceptions.
Sections that it's just for,
Exactly. So that was, as
Yeah.
I said, a big opportunity for us, and many of those families and couples are coming back.
Okay.
So
Fantastic.
hopefully happy days,
Happy
brighter days ahead.
Brighter days ahead, hopefully. Are there any particular trends that you see starting to transform the industry, whether it be marketing, technological? Is there anything what's of interest to Antonio at the moment?
So what I'm seeing, and this I'm just talking now,
Yeah.
of course, on what's seen within MSC, is that like ex-UK cruises are going rather well. So I think not many people are ready to book a flying cruise yet.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
basically,
Lion.
I'm sure this will pick up soon, but I think this was mainly due to all the different regulations you have, across all the different countries. So that's why probably it made things a little bit more
difficult.
more confusing for everyone. So many are going for the safe, choice.
option.
I jump on a ship in Southampton, and
come
the
back.
ship is going to the
Yeah,
Canaries
and come
or
back.
to the Mediterranean back. So no stress, no hassle. So that's what I'm seeing as a trend at the moment for the cruise industry. What is really important, and of course we appreciate that, is that people are actually trying to upgrade their experience. So many people have not had the opportunity to go on holiday for a couple of years, and now they're all looking forward to having a super holiday, really good holiday, and they're willing to spend a little bit more to upgrade their experience because they've missed so much in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And I'm also seeing this from the younger demographics. So I'm talking about, let's say, youngsters, because I still consider myself young.
You are.
All the people in that age bracket, 20 to 40, that are willing, to spend more. So like luxury holidays are going really well. That's a trend. So probably some people would never believe it, but as I said, it's probably the result of being locked up, for 2 years. Now people say, listen, this summer I want to go out and I want to have fun and I want to, treat myself a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing, for example, for MSC Virtuosa, many people are booking the yacht club, which is our the best, probably the best experience on board of our ship. So it's an interesting trend. And as I said, I'm still seeing many young people booking cruises as well. That's really interesting. In terms of destination, we had a really strong demand for Dubai. So Dubai this winter has been really, really successful. We had so many British customers, flying to Dubai on board of one of our ships. The Caribbean are up and coming. So our itineraries and Barbados and the French Antilles and all that. So that they went really, really well. And I expect, the Mediterranean to be rather trendy in a couple of months from now.
Okay. Brilliant.
We should probably expect also some sort of last minute demand as well.
Last minute as well.
So there's a combination of both people who want to play it safe and they are booking in advance, also because many cruise lines do have some rather flexible terms and conditions at the moment. And then there's other people that just say, no, let's wait an extra month or 2 more months and then we'll do it. But the thing is, there is generally speaking sort of shortage in terms of capacity capacity in terms of offering. So that's why my advice would be don't wait too late.
Don't wait too late.
Until the very last
Try
second,
to,
because probably you may even find something, but the price
is going to be ridiculous.
Going
through the roof now. Yeah,
so that's why it's always finding the right moment to book your holidays.
Book your holidays. Oh, fantastic. So of course, our podcast is geared towards young people coming into the industry or people who might be already in the travel industry. What skills would you tell a young person or some person who's like maybe considering a job change? What skills do you think they should have, or like you think they should consider, or things they should do to get into the cruise industry?
Well, definitely a good attitude. So I've always embraced new challenges, with an open mind. So you need to, I don't know the word in English, but you need to put yourself in discussion. You need to challenge yourself as well.
Okay.
So you need to be curious, as I said earlier. So you need to learn. So you need to have the right attitude. So if you're going for a new job, listen to people. Listen to those who have been doing that job for a few years, Don't be arrogant. Don't come across as, yes, I know it all. I don't need your support. There's nothing wrong asking people questions. Especially to people who have a lot of experience. You need to invest in yourself. So if you don't know something, research it. I think these days we are really, really lucky. Like in the past, I had to go to a library.
Physically go to the library.
Physically and check to find the right, book, to find the answer to my question. Right now,
you just
literally
pick your phone up.
Pick your phone up, Google, I don't know this. Okay,
and it's there.
So I think these days, people have access to
much more information.
And all of that happens, within a matter of seconds, whilst in the past you had to do a completely different job. So you need to be curious, invest in yourself also. And again, you need to work hard, guys. So there's no other
that
way
is
to
important.
say.
You say that one again.
I can tell straight away if somebody within my company, is doing it because they've got passion, they're enjoying what they're doing. If I see they're checking their watch every 5 minutes, it gives the wrong message, the wrong vibe. So you need to work hard, and at the same time, I always say, you need work hard and play harder. And especially the travel industry is such a dynamic and exciting industry, and you need to do networking. As I said, networking is really, really important in and outside your organization. And then what else? Just keep up with the latest
what's
trends,
happening.
with what's happening. Because
follow the ITT.
Yes, follow the ITT, because the world is so dynamic. As I said, what was valid yesterday, it's not
next week, something different completely, right?
Exactly. So you need to keep up to date with everything. And yes, ITT, especially Claire, is doing an amazing job. So.
And I want to talk, before I go, I want to talk a little bit of what your organization is doing as it relates to sustainability, diversity and inclusivity, or even young people in travel. You don't have to tell me about all the different things you're doing, but is there any particular program or activity that you're doing that focuses on, any of those things?
Well, you're touching many
I know
things.
there's many things,
So it will take me a couple of days to share with you all the stuff. So sustainability-wise, just a perfect example, we have turned a former excavation site into a natural marine reserve in the Bahamas. Okay, so it wasn't basically we've spent so much money, time, and effort in restoring the corals, in planting more than 35,000 trees, bringing that island back to life. That's one of our
amazing.
So talking about sustainability, we go above and beyond our duty to do it. In addition to what we're doing on board of our ships, we have pledged that by 2050 we will completely zero the emissions. So with every new ship, we are adopting the latest technology available to help us reduce the carbon footprints and the emission, and because we want to preserve the sea for the future generations. I know that people sometimes hear a lot about this, but we really believe in what we're doing. So all of our new ships now are going to be powered by LNG, liquefied natural gas, and at the same time, we are relying more and more on shore power. So that will allow the ships, not to burn any fuel when they're in the ports. They just, plug in, just like the electric cars. You plug in, recharge. Yeah, but this is what's happening. It's already happening.
It's happening. Okay, wow.
And we're already doing it in Southampton because we have a brand new terminal, and that's one of the first terminals that is actually able to
now
provide.
allow you to do that.
Exactly. Then talking about people, of course, people, one of our core values is to promote diversity. We are a global company, so we sell cruises across 152 countries in the world. I think no other cruise line has such a wide distribution. And the same applies to our crew on board and to the nationality of our customers. So on an average MSC cruise, you could have up to 125 different nationalities on board. Oh, yeah. So diversity is our thing. Yes. We are, of course, a European brand, but as I said, we are strong in different continents, in different countries. So we're definitely promoting diversity, of course, equal opportunities for everyone, regardless of your age, religion, sex, etc., etc. So we definitely do that. So we have programs also within MSC, which are both local and global. So we have different initiatives. It would take me ages to talk about all of them. Yes. But basically, yes, our doors are open as long as you got talent and you have what it takes. Our door is always open. I think diversity can only make you richer.
Definitely.
I think just seeing everything black or white is rather boring. Yes. Thank God in this world there are so many different shades.
Right?
And that's what I believe brings brightness into your life. And this applies to my people. I always say to my colleagues, bring new ideas to the table.
It does. It definitely
because that's what makes our lives and jobs probably a little bit more exciting.
Here it's about hearing different perspectives from different people, like different backgrounds.
Some ideas may be crazy, some ideas may be funny, but hey, why not?
Bring them all, right?
Bring them on, exactly. So as I said, as long as you're determined and you have what it takes, you're always happy. We're also working with students. So also thanks to ITT, we've done quite a few seminars and workshops at university. So of course we want more and more young people, talented people, to join the cruise community. I'm not just talking about MSC. I'm talking about the cruise community in general. And we have different examples of people who have literally graduated and then they join MSC as well. So as I said, the door is open if there's
anyone
an
that
opportunity.
Find Antonio on LinkedIn and
no, not on LinkedIn. Please don't do that.
Go to the MS. He'll tell you exactly where to go.
Let's go to the MSC portal. At least there's some sort of filters.
Exactly.
No, but jokes aside, I said, I think this pandemic has also created new opportunities. Lots of people have been moving from one company to another, from one job to another. I think it gave us the opportunity to think, and I think a fair share of people are exiting this pandemic with a completely different mindset. So they are different from what they were 2 years ago.
Completely.
And this is the reason why they want to try new things and do things differently
now. Yeah,
exactly.
Totally agree. And as we wrap up, I have one question, the question I love to ask everybody. And
it
was
Go on.
If you weren't the managing director for MSC Cruises, what career would you like to explore?
I would either be, don't laugh. When I was a kid, I wanted to be an archaeologist. But those were the days of Indiana Jones, so I'm no longer there. Then I wanted to become a diplomat. Right now, I would like to be, if I could, I would like to be in the show business.
In the show business, really?
Yes. Show business, maybe /football.
Maybe /football. Okay, that's really interesting.
I would like to see the world from a different perspective
That's a completely different perspective.
I've spent quite a few years working for the travel industry, and I would like, it would be nice to see something different. And show business has always intrigued me. So,
but do you think you want to be on stage or you want to be behind the scenes? Which one is it?
I don't know. It depends how I'm feeling. If it's a good day, why not on stage? But more just to be part of that world and feel a different buzz.
Different buzz.
I don't know if that's what you were expecting from me.
No, I was not expecting you to tell me show business and football, but thank you so much.
We could be a Good Morning Britain.
This is the start. This is the start. But thank you so much, Antonio, for joining the Indie Travel No podcast. It was really, inspirational conversation. I gleaned lots from it as well. I'm sure that our audience will also learn a lot from your journey and from your story. So thank you so much for coming.
I hope so too. And thanks everyone, for listening. Arrivederci.
The In the Travel No podcast is powered by Avis Budget Group, a global mobility provider operating in over 160 countries, creating a diverse and inclusive culture. Their brands include Avis, Budget, and Zipcar. They work to connect you to more. They are a team of visionaries, inventors, and achievers, driving technology that will revolutionize the world. They have roles in airports, operations, corporate, and support teams. To find out more, visit avisbudgetgroup.jobs to browse their latest global vacancies.